John von Neumann, and he's one of the fathers of computing, but had so many advances in so many other areas, game theory and science and so on. I think I'd like to, if I got to sit down today, I think one of the interesting talks would be, how did you foresee things moving forward, and how are things different than maybe you possibly could have imagined? But I think to sit down with somebody with that intellect, we would not run out of things to talk about. So my dad's an engineer and a professor, and I always looked up to him and thought that that would be something that I would enjoy doing. The form of that was not really clear until I went to university, and I chose electrical engineering as my major, and I think I was just thrilled to get there and figure out, like, this is actually what I was meant to do. Probably curiosity. That's been scientists for, literally thousands of years, being able to say why. Why is that the case? I think the other thing that's been very useful for me in my career has been the making sure that the research that I'm doing is solving actual problems. I think something that's been very beneficial for me as a researcher is to have very broad Rolodex, which is a ancient technology for keeping your contacts that anybody under age 40 is not going to know. But I have a broad set of collaborators and people that I can ask questions or ask favors from. So there's a lot of trying to make sure that I bring the approach of not just me, but people I know to a problem, to think about different aspects of this and how I might go about it. Some courage as well, to not be afraid to fail. And that's something culturally that is in Silicon Valley, where I come from. It's fine to fail. It's even desirable to fail because you learn lessons from failing. And I think we can and should be bolder in terms of the chances that we take, both in research and in life. So the first is to take initiative. The English phrase is to grab the brass ring. You want to be that researcher that says, I'm going to take the initiative, I'm going to take the leadership here, I'm going to put this on my back and bring it home. And I didn't do that very well as a graduate student. The other one that I try to talk to them about is when they're looking for jobs. There was a company I was interested in, and I had a faculty offer, and they were interested in me. And then I was contacted by a recruiter, and then I never heard back, ever. And then after I'd done that, my friend at the company came and said, what happened? We really wanted to talk to you about this. And I said, well, I'd contacted by this recruiter, and nothing happened, and I thought you weren't interested. And he came back like 3 days later. He's like, yeah, that person doesn't work here anymore. I think the lesson that I really try to offer is that I was arrogant. I thought, here's this company and they're maybe interested in me, but they're not. And I didn't follow up. And I should have swallowed my pride and said, hey, I'm actually still interested in you, and I'm sorry I didn't hear back from these people, but you're people that I really want to talk to. And I try to make sure that my students don't take things personally during the hiring process. So lots of different things can happen in the company that you don't hear about, and you need to be diligent at following up on those sort of things. So if I was a young person, I was looking at a creative endeavor that I thought was going to make a lot of sense. It would be urban planning. And so, in Silicon Valley, we're really looking at a lot of, autonomous car kinds of things. And as cars become autonomous, they are really going to change what the urban landscape is like. You have this beautiful city here, and how much of the area is actually devoted to cars, garages and parking and roads, and what a city it would be if you took all that and repurposed it for people. Can we design it in that way? And so there's a lot of wonderful technical questions around building artificial intelligence for cars, but when they can drive themselves, when they drop you off and they leave the city and go park somewhere far away, so that the city can be for people, that's going to be fantastically interesting.